look at number 16 and 17 from yesterday's independent practice, so we can see it's not asking you to do all that much. You just have to think. So, number 16 says, write two 5-digit addends whose sum would give an estimate of $60,000. I'm sorry, 60,000. Explain your reasoning. So all you had to do, you weren't finding two numbers that rounded to $60,000. That's not what it was asking you to do. Did it say write two 5-digit numbers that round to 60,000? Zadie?
No.
No. It's saying write two 5-digit addends. Remember, addends are the pieces that you add together, whose sum, that's the answer to an addition problem, would give an estimate of 60,000. So that means you had to figure out two 5-digit numbers that when you add them, the answer would round to 60,000. Now these are the numbers they chose. You did not have to pick these exact numbers. You just needed to figure out two numbers that when you add them together, the answer would round to the nearest 10,000 to 60,000. That's all you had to do. So you had to figure out, okay, I want my answer to be 63,428. Then you just had to think backwards. What two numbers can I add together to get 8? I could do any two numbers that equal 8. Aaron, give me two numbers that I add together and equals 8. 4 and 4. There's my ones place. It could have been 5 and 3. It could have been 6 and 2. Anything. Now, I need two numbers that add together to make 2. Victoria. 1 plus 1. I could have also done 2 plus 0. One number could have 2, one number could have 0. What about 4? Don't tell me 2 and 2. Tell me something different. Kingston. 3 and 1. Bring up my comma, because I know when I'm adding and I have the same number of digits, my comma is going to line up every time. Now two numbers that when I add them together equal 3. 2 plus 1. Now I need two numbers when I add them together, they equal 6. Don't tell me 3 and 3. Zadie?
4 and 2.
4 and 2. Now I've got my two 5-digit addends. 42,314 plus 21,114 equals 63,428. 63,428 rounded to the nearest 10,000. Well, I circle the digit in the place I'm rounding. I underline the digit to the right. 3 is 4 or less. That means my circle digit stays the same. All the digits after become zeros. That's all I had to do. I could just start with any number in the world that rounded to 60,000 and just figure out what can I add together in each place. So that's one way to solve that problem. Now, number 17. We're building on the essential question. The essential question is that question that this whole chapter is getting us to answer. Explain why an addition problem that has 4-digit addends could have a 5-digit sum. That means both of your numbers have 4 digits. All I'm doing is making up a number. Well, here I have 4 digits. I have two 4-digit addends, but sometimes I know my answer could have 5 digits. Well, here's why. 1 plus 5 is 6. 3 plus 2 is 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. 6 plus 4 is 10. So I had two 4-digit addends, but my answer has 5 digits because if the digits in the thousands place, 6 and 4, have a sum that is greater than 9, the sum will have 5 digits. So use your pencil to quickly write this answer. That's all it was looking for. Because sometimes when you add the digits in the greatest place, it ends up, the digits added together end up being more than 9. So then you're going to have an extra digit in your sum. Okay, so before we begin with the lesson, I'm going to draw a number using base 10 blocks. I need more room. Well, I can go over here. What number do I have represented here? Victoria.
350.
Louder.
358.
358. How do you know? How many ones cubes did I have?
408.
How many 10 rods did I have?
5.
And how many 100 flats did I have? 3. Now what happens if I take one 10 rod and I trade it for ten ones cubes? Do I still have 3 hundredths, 5 tens, and 8 ones? Victoria? No, what do I have now?
You have 368.
Do I have 368? I have 3 hundredths flats. How many 10 rods do I have?
304.
How many 10 rods do I have? How many ones cubes do I have?
8.
How much is how many ones cubes are in 3 hundredths flats? Victoria? How many ones cubes are in 3 hundredths flats? 300. How many 10 rods are in how many ones cubes are in 4 10 rods? How many ones cubes are in 18 ones cubes?
18.
If I add all these together, what do I get, Victoria? 8 plus 0 plus 0 is 1 plus 4 plus nothing. Plus 0 is nothing plus nothing plus 3 is. So even though I traded out that 10 rod for 10 ones cubes, I still have the exact same number, right? What did I do when I traded that one? Who thinks they know? What is that word that says what I did when I traded the 10 rod for 10 ones cubes? What is that word? Smith?
Regrouping.
Regroup. Excellent. When I regroup, I take one of one type of a larger base 10 block, and I make it 10 of a smaller one. Or I make 10 of a smaller one and turn it into 1 of a larger one. So if I wanted to regroup 100ths flat as 10 rods, how many 10 rods would I make? If I wanted to regroup 100ths flat as 10 rods, how many 10 rods would I need? Michaela? 10. Let's see if I can fit them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's see. What if I said I'm going to end up with a different number than 358? Would I be correct? If I said I'm not going to end up with, there's no way I'm going to end up with 358 now. Colin, am I correct?
No.
Let's find out. Michaela, how many ones cubes are in 200s flats? 200. How many 10 rods do I have now, Michaela? Let's count them because I know there's a lot. So let's actually put our finger on each one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Here, that was a bad way to count. Let's go in a line, and then when we get to the end of the 10 rods, we'll go to the next one. That's a bad way to count because then I might accidentally count one more than once.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
How many ones cubes are in 14 10 rods? Who thinks they know? Who thinks they know how many ones cubes are in 14 10 rods? Victoria?
1,000.
Let's count by tens. Because we know how many ones cube is in one 10 rod, Victoria. 10. So let's count by tens.
10, 20,
Everybody. 30.
40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 140,
120, 130,
30, 140.
140. So there are 140 ones cubes in 14 10 rods. All I did was put a 0 at the end. I bet that's a pattern we're going to find later. Now, I still have how many ones cubes, Michaela? Did I regroup ones cubes since the last time? So I still have how many? 18. 18 ones cubes is the same as how many ones cubes? 18. So let's add again. Let's start with the ones. 8 plus 0 plus 0, Michaela.
8,
1 plus 4 plus 0.
5,
Nothing plus 1 plus 2.
3,
Do I still have the same number? Yes! Now that's so important to understand because even though I'm regrouping, I still have the same number because of what the sentence is under the title say. Aaron, please loudly tell us what the sentence is underneath the title say on page 93.
subtraction. Subtraction of whole numbers is similar to addition of whole numbers because you might need to regroup.
So just like yesterday when we had to regroup that 1 to the next place over. Sometimes in subtraction, we have to regroup, but it looks a little different. We're not going to carry anything or regroup anything to a larger place. We're going to do this, where we take away 100 and make it 10 tens. Or we take away 1 10 and we make it 10 ones. Now we've seen that a little bit, but now everybody, finger or pencil on example 1. We have a word problem. So we're going to read it once just to find out the question. We're not going to put a box around any important information. We're just finding out the question. Because if we don't know the question, do we know what's important and what's not? Class?
No.
No. Okay, so read in your head while I read out loud. The Trevino family is moving to a new city. They have driven 957 miles out of the 3,214 miles that they need to drive. How many more miles do they need to drive? So now I know my question. How many more miles do they need to drive? This word, or how many more, anytime I see the word more or less after how many or how much, I know that I am subtracting. If I see how many more, how much more, how many less, how much less, I always know that I am subtracting. That more or less after the word many or much is what tells me that I am subtracting. Because I'm trying to find the difference between two numbers. And what's the answer to a subtraction problem called? Michaela? Difference. So if I'm trying to find the difference between two numbers, I automatically know I'm going to subtract. The word that comes after how many, or how many more, or whatever, always tells me the unit. So that's the number I'm looking for. The word after how many, how much, how many more, how much more, whatever, always tells me the unit, which means those are the numbers that I'm looking for. The numbers that represent the miles. So let's read it again, and this time we're going to put a box around the important information. Carla, make sure that you're writing what I'm writing on the board. If you haven't written it yet, then just don't do it now, because then you'll miss the next part of what I have to say. Let's read it again, and this time we're going to find the important information. We're going to find the miles, what we are actually subtracting. The Trevino family is moving to a new city. I don't see anything that tells us miles there, so nothing there is that important. They have driven 957 miles. Oh, that's important because I know I'm looking for numbers that represent miles. Out of the 3,214 miles, that's another important number because I'm looking for numbers that represent miles, that they need to drive. So I've got my two important pieces of information, 957 miles and 3,214 miles, and my question tells me I'm subtracting. Now I need to write my subtraction problem on the line. Is this how I'm going to write my subtraction problem? 957 comes first. Oops. 3,214 comes second. So I'm going to write it in the same order. Is that correct? Is that how I would write my equation on the line? 957 minus 3,214. Keep in mind, when I call on you to give me your answer, I'm going to ask you why. Carla, is this how I would write it on my line?
No,
No. Why?
because the bigger number goes first and the lower number goes second.
Good. The bigger number always comes first in subtraction. Why does the bigger number come first in subtraction? Aaron?
Because you can't subtract a bigger number from a smaller number.
I can't subtract a bigger number from a smaller number. If I have 957 stickers and I want to give 3,214 away, is that possible, Aaron? No, I don't have enough. If I have 957 stickers, I don't have 3,214 stickers to give away. I only have 957. Well, what if I had 3,214 stickers and I wanted to give away 957 stickers? Can I do that, class?
Yes.
Yes, I have them to give away. So my problem on the line, if I had a line for an answer, my equation would look like 3,214 minus 957. Now I've got my equation written. What's my next step? What's the next step? After you figure out your equation, what's the next step? Colin?
Write them up and down.
Well, write it up and down, but solve it. So now I'm ready to solve it. So first, it's really hard. It's even harder to subtract sideways than it is to add sideways. So we're going to go ahead and start by writing it up and down. I'm going to write my first number normally. 3,214. Now I know it's already written, but please use your pencil to go over those numbers so that you have that muscle memory. But be neat so that it doesn't look a mess and then you can't read it. Now my second number, I especially want to make sure I line it up correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and write it backwards so I can line up the places. I'm going to line the 7 in the ones place up with the 4 in the ones place. I'm going to line up the 5 in the tens place with the 1 in the tens place. And I'm going to line up the 9 in the hundreds place with the 2 in the hundreds place. Do I have anything in the thousands place to line up, class?
No.
No. And I'm going to put my line and my subtraction symbol. Notice my subtraction symbol is not right underneath the 3. It's over to the side so that I don't get it confused or forget about the 3 or anything like that. Now, just like addition, I'm going to solve in the same order. My steps are the same. I'm just subtracting instead of adding. So step 1, subtract the 1s. I have 4 minus 7. Can I do that? Colin?
No.
No. Does that mean I just flip it in my head and say, well, I can't do 4 minus 7, so I'll do 7 minus 4?
No.
Can I do that?
No.
No, because then I'd be doing 3,217 minus 954. And is that the problem that they gave me?
Nope.
No. So I have to regroup this 10 as 10 ones. So if I took this 10 rod and turned it into ones cubes, well, how many 10 rods would I have left? Michaela? 0. How many ones cubes would I have? 14. Good. Oops, we got to cross it out to let us know it's not 4 anymore. Yes, Colin?
No, I was.
Okay. Now I have 14 minus 7. Can I do that? Class?
Yes.
Yes. 14
Yes.
minus 7 is 7. Don't be afraid to count using your fingers. So if I wanted to count using my fingers, this is what it would look like. 14, I would start at 14 and I would count back 7. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. What did I land on? 7. Now I know that seems silly that I'm reteaching you how to count with your fingers, but it is not bad. And if you spend a while not doing it, you forget how, so it's just a reminder. Yes, Victoria, quickly.
It's not like we're going to be math geniuses and four.
Exactly. Nobody is ever going to grade you on using your fingers or not. Well, she shouldn't because you've only been doing math for like 4 years, 5 years maybe. So, now 14 ones minus 7 ones is 7 ones. We've already got it. Now step 2, subtract the 10s. 0 minus 5. Can we do it, class?
No.
No, and I can't just flip it and say 5 minus 0. I have to do the same thing. I have to go to the hundredths. I have to take 1/100ths flat away. If I took 1/100ths flat away, how many hundredths flats do I have left? Colin?
1.
1. If I take that 1/100ths flat and turn it into 10 rods, how many 10 rods do I have now?
10.
10, because 0 plus 10 rods is 10. Now we're only going to go step by step. I know I'm not going to be able to do this, but I'm not there yet, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm only worried about the tens place. Can I do 10 minus 5, class?
Yes.
Yes. 10 minus 5. Well, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
5.
5. Regroup 100 as 10 tens. 10 tens plus 0 tens equals 10 tens. 10 tens minus 5 tens is 5 tens. Now, step 3. We go to the next place and we subtract the hundredths. Well, I have 1 minus 9. Can I do that, class?
No.
No. So I have to regroup with my blocks, my base 10 blocks. So I go to the thousands place. If I take away 1 thousands cube, how many thousands do I have left? Aaron? 2. Now I have to turn my thousands cube into how many hundredths, Aaron? It's always the same number. Anytime you regroup, you always turn it into the same number as, so if I turned 110 into 10 ones and 100 into 10 tens, I'm going to turn 1,000 into how many hundredths?
2.
Not 2. Think of a thousands cubes. How many hundredths flats would be in there?
10.
How many of these hundredths flats are in a thousands cube? It's the same every time. Just like there's 10 ones in a 10 rod, there's 10 tens in a hundredths flat, so there's 10 hundredths in a thousands cube. So that means I'm going to regroup my 1,000 as how many hundredths?
10.
10. It's a pattern. It's always 10. Whenever you regroup into a smaller place, it is always 10. So that means my 1/100ths flat becomes how many? Not 10 because I have this 1 left over.
0. Not 0.
Listen, Aaron, you're trying to go too fast. Your brain's going faster than your mouth. Or your mouth's going faster than your brain. I took 1/1000ths flat, thousands block, and turned it into 10/100ths flats. So now I have 10 extra, but I still have this 1. So if I added 10/100ths flats to this 1/100ths flats, I have how many 100ths flats now? Did I get rid of this 1 I already had?
No.
If I move 10/100ths flats two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many 100ths flats do I have now? I started with 1, I added 10 more. Now I have how many 100ths?
10.
Colin?
11.
11, because I added 10 to the 1 I already had. 10 plus 1 is what, Aaron? 11. Notice how I'm always adding 10 each time. I added 10 to what I had in the 1's place. I added 10 to what I had in the 10's place. I added 10 to what I had in the 100ths place. So now, 11 minus 9. Can I do it, class?
Yes.
Yes. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
2.
2. 11/100ths minus 9/100ths is 200ths. Look at this, Aaron. Sorry, I didn't even notice this was here. 10/100ths plus 100 is 11/100ths. So don't forget, you're taking away 1 from the greater place value and you're adding 10 to the smaller place value. But don't forget about what's already there. You're just adding 10 to what's already there. Now, we subtract the thousands. We have 2,000s and no thousands. Well, 2 minus 0 is what, class?
2.
2. So 2,000s minus 0,000s is 2,000s. That means 3,214 minus 957 is 2,257. Which means the Trevino family needs to drive 2,257 more miles. Is everybody with us? When you regroup, you always take 1 away from the larger place value and give 10 to the smaller place value. That's just what you do. So in the 10's place, we took 1 away, it became 0. We added 10 to the 1's place, now it's 14. Well, then we got to the 10's, we couldn't do it, so we took 1 away from the 100ths place, added 10 to the 10's place, and ended up with 10. Then we got to the 100ths place, we couldn't do it, so we took 1 away from the 1,000's place, gave 10 to the 100ths place, and ended up with 11. And then we just subtracted. Every time you regroup, you are following the same pattern, just in a different place. Is everybody with me? Okay. Helper number 1, sanitize, erase, sanitize. Everybody else, go ahead and move to page 94. So the minuend is the first number in a subtraction sentence. It is always greater. The subtrahend is the second number in a subtraction sentence. It is always least or smaller. Subtrahend, second, smaller. Why am I making that S sound so much each time? Colin?
Because the subtrahend starts with an S and the second number is the subtrahend.
And second starts with
An S.
an S, and the second number is always smaller, so smaller starts with an
S.
So I'm trying to help you remember, subtrahend is second and smaller than the minuend Which comes first? Make sure you remember that because guess what's going to be on your math test?
This.
Vocabulary. Okay, now, finger or pencil on example 2. Read in your head while I read out loud. The band has raised $1,345 towards new equipment. If the goal is to raise $4,275, how much money must still be raised? Well, our question is, how much money must still be raised? Now, we don't have how much more or how much less, but we can see still be raised. That means we still need something, which tells us we are subtracting. It means we don't have all the information we need. We would never end up with a larger number. They need a certain amount of money, and they already have some. Are we ever going to end up with more than the amount they need when we're trying to figure out how much is left? Zari?
No.
No. Because we only need this much. So we don't need to end up with a bigger number because we're just trying to figure out how much is left. How much is left? How much must still be raised? Those mean the same thing. We are subtracting. Money comes after how much or how many. So that means it is our unit. So we're looking for any number that represents money in our problem. That's how we found the important pieces of information. So let's read it again and put a box around all the numbers that represent money. We already know we're subtracting, so now we need to find out, well, what 2 numbers are we subtracting? The band has raised $1,345. Well, dollars means money. So I know that's my first important piece of information. Toward new equipment. If the goal is to raise $4,275, again, dollars is money. So there's my important piece of information. How much money should still be raised? Now, which of these 2 numbers is going to be the minuend? Which of these 2 numbers is going to be the minuend? Victoria.
4,275.
Good. Why not the other number?
Because it's too small.
It's too small, and the minuend is more. Minuend, more. Subtrahend, smaller. We're using different words, but they both mean the same thing. So, and then our subtrahend is going to be what, Victoria?
1,345.
Because the subtrahend is smaller. Good. So we're subtracting $4,275 minus $1,345. Now they want us to estimate first, so we're going to round. Even though they already did it for us here, let's do it small to the side. We have the same number of digits, so that means we can round to the greatest place both times. 4,275 rounded to the nearest thousand. Well, I'm going to circle the digit in the thousands place, underline the digit to the right. 2 is 4 or less. That means my circled digit stays the same. All the rest become zeros. Now, I'm going to erase that so it doesn't confuse me later when I'm regrouping. I'm going to do the same thing with 1,345. Well, 1 is in the thousands place. 3 is right next door. 3 is 4 or less. That means our circled digit stays a 1. The rest of the digits become zeros. I'm not going to forget my units. And of course, I'm not going to forget my subtraction symbol. Well, my minuend has how many zeros at the end, class? How many zeros does my minuend have at the end, class?
3.
3. My subtrahend has how many zeros at the end, class?
3.
So my answer, my difference, is going to have how many zeros at the end, class?
3.
3. Now I can cover up all the zeros because I've already figured them out. 4 minus 1 is what, class?
3.
Bring down my dollar sign. So that means in order to be reasonable, my answer needs to be close to 3,000. Does it have to be exactly 3,000?
No.
No. Now we're going to follow the steps again. Subtract the ones. 5 minus 5. Do I have to regroup there? Can I do 5 minus 5? If I have 5 apples, can I give away 5 apples?
Yes.
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 5 minus 5 is 0. You can
Zero.
count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
0.
There you go. Now, I didn't have to regroup. So I'm going to go ahead and move to the tens. I have 7 minus 4. Can I do that, class?
Yes.
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 7 minus 4. Well, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. I did not have to regroup. So I can just go ahead and move to the hundredths. Step 3, subtract the hundredths. 2 minus 3. Uh-oh, can I do that?
No.
No,
No.
so I have to
Regroup.
regroup. I move to the thousands place. I'm going to take 1 thousandths cube away. So how many thousandths cubes will I have now? Michaela? 3. I can't just get rid of it. I have to give how many to the hundredths place? Not 1. How many hundredths are in 1,000? It's always the same. It's the same number of ones that are in 10. Same number of tens that are in 100. Who can help her out? Zadie? 10. So that means I have to give 10 to the hundredths place. So Michaela, I don't have 2 hundredths anymore. I have 2 hundredths plus 10 more hundredths, which is how many hundredths? I just add 10 to what I had. So I don't have 2 anymore. I have 2 plus 10, which is, what's 2 plus 10? 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Remember, whenever I regroup with subtraction, I am always taking 1 away from the larger place value and adding 10 to the smaller place value. Do not forget that. I'm going to say it again. Every time I regroup in subtraction, I take how many away from the larger place value, Victoria? Whenever I regroup in subtraction, I take how many away from the larger place value? 1. Every time I take 1 away from the larger place value, I give how many to the smaller place value? Zadie. Every time I take 1 away from the larger place value, I give how many to the smaller? 10. Because if I only gave 1, I would be saying that 1,100 is the same. And is that true?
No.
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 If I gave you the choice of $1,000 or $1, and I gave you $1, would you be pretty mad?
Yes.
Because they're not the same. They're not the same. So anytime, I'm going to say this again, everybody listen. Fill in the blanks. Every time I take how many away from the greater place value, class? How many do I take away from the greater place value when I regroup in subtraction, class?
1.
1. I have to give how many to the smaller place value, class?
10.
10. So now I have 12 minus 3. Well, 12, 11, 10,
9.
12, 11, 10.
9.
9.
Now I can move to the thousands place. I don't have 4 minus 1 anymore. I have 3 minus 1. Well, 3 minus 1, 3,
2.
2. So that means the band still needs to raise $2,930. Is that close to 3,000?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not far. It's only about $70 away from 3,000, which isn't that much when you're talking about thousands of dollars. Now, there's another way to check. We can estimate to check, but there's a way to tell exactly if you got it right. Michaela, you look really excited about this. Tell us about it. You use addition to check. You basically flip the problem upside down and add to make sure it's correct. So, You take the difference, which is the answer. Do this to the side in your extra space. You take the difference, which is the answer, and you add the subtrahend. Make sure you line those digits up. You flip the problem upside down. The difference becomes the top number. The subtrahend becomes the middle number. And then you add, not subtract, but you add. Michaela, what should I get as my answer if I did it correctly? So I used the difference and the subtrahend. What part of my subtraction problem should be the answer if I did the math correctly? The minuend. If I did my problem correctly, then when I add the difference and the subtrahend, my answer should be the minuend. So Michaela, help me out. Let's find out. We add the 1. 0 plus 5 is? Then we add the tens. 3 plus 4 is? Then we add the hundreds. 9 plus 3 is? 12. But I can't put both digits in the hundreds place, so I regroup to the? Good. Now I add the thousands. 2 plus 1 is? Plus my regroup number is? I got 4,275. Was that my minuend? So am I correct? Yes. So that's another way to check where you will get the exact answer. Our estimate is close, so we can say it's reasonable, but when we added to check, we got our exact minuend. So it's not only reasonable, it's 100% correct. Okay, we have about 5 minutes till reading. Let's do the guided practice together, and then after music, you'll have time to do the independent practice. So, helper number. Okay, so the guided practice says subtract. Use addition or estimation to check. For one of these, we're going to use estimation. For one, we're going to use addition. Whoever gets picked for number 1 gets to choose which way they check. The other person just has to do the other. Zari, you're going to help me with number 1. First, which way would you like to check? With estimation or with addition?
Estimation.
Estimation. If you're checking with estimation, you'll do that first. If you're checking with addition, well, you'll have to wait till the end because you don't know all the pieces of the problem yet. So, can we round both of these numbers, 2,962 and 845, to the thousands place?
No.
No, because one number does not have a digit in the thousands place, so we have to round them to which place, sorry?
Hundreds.
Hundreds, good. So 29,062 rounded to the nearest hundred is what? Ooh, this is a tricky one. Who can help her out?
3,000.
What is it, sorry?
3,000.
3,000, correct. Because we can't add 1 to the 9 in the hundreds place, because we can't have 2, 10, 6, 2. So we have to go to the thousands place, add 1 there, and then everything after becomes 0. Good. Now, Zari, 845 rounded to the nearest hundred is?
800.
800. Make sure you line your digits up. Well, I have how many zeros at the end of both? I have 3 at the end of my first number, but do I have 3 at the end of my second number, Zari?
No.
No. So how many zeros do I have at the end of both?
2.
2. 1, 2, 1, 2. I don't have to worry about that other 0. So my answer is going to have at least how many zeros at the end?
2.
2. 1, 2. Now I just need to say what's left, which is what? Sorry, if I cover up those zeros, those 2 zeros at the end, what do I have left? I'm just covering up 2 zeros in each number. So what do I have left?
30 and 8.
So 30 minus 8. We can just count backwards, right? Because we don't need to do regrouping when we can count back using our fingers. So we're going to start at 30.
29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22.
So that means what goes in front of my 2 zeros?
22.
Bring down my comma. My answer needs to be close to what number, Zari?
2,200.
2,200. Very good. Please don't work ahead because then you're going to get confused later. Please do this with us, and then you can work at your pace when we get to the independent practice. Okay, Zari, now we have to subtract. We start in which place?
1.
1. Zari, please keep yourself off of mute for a little bit because you're going to keep answering. So, 2 minus 5. Can we do that?
No.
No. So we need to go to the tens place and take how many away?
1.
So now we don't have 6, we have
5.
and how many do we give to the ones place?
10.
So we don't have 2 anymore, we have
12.
good. 12 minus 5. Can I do it?
Yes.
12 minus 5 is what?
7.
Good. Then I move to which place, Zari?
10.
Tens. And I have 5 minus 4. Can I do it?
Yes.
5 minus 4 is what?
1.
Good. Now I move to which place?
100.
I have 9 minus 8. Can I do it?
Yes.
What is 9 minus 8 is what?
1.
I can bring down my comma because I know in addition and subtraction my commas are all going to line up. And then I move to which place? Zari.
Thousands.
2 minus nothing. Can I do it?
Yes.
What is the answer?
2.
So my answer is what? 2,962 minus 845 is?
2,117.
Is that pretty close to 2,200?
Yes.
So is our answer reasonable?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Zari. Victoria, you're next. We have $4,785 minus $2,293. And since Zari chose estimation, you'll use addition. Can we do addition before we do the problem? No, because we don't have all the pieces.
I wanted to do addition.
We have to know the difference in order to be able to add it to the subtrahend. We don't know the difference yet. So that means if we're using addition to check, we do the addition after we actually solve the problem. So we start in what place, Victoria?
1
5 minus 3, can we do it?
Yes.
What's the answer?
2.
Now we move to which place?
The tens place.
Tens place. We have 8 minus 9, can we do it?
No.
No, so we have to move to the hundreds place and take how many away?
1.
So we don't have 7 hundredths anymore, we have
6 tens.
6. Now we take that 100, we give it to the tens place. How many are we giving to the tens place?
10.
So we don't have 8 anymore, we have 18. Now we have 18 minus 9. Can we do that?
Yes.
18 minus 9 is what?
9.
9. Good. Now we move to the,
Hundreds place.
remember we don't have 7 minus 2 anymore, we have,
6 minus 2.
can we do that?
Yes.
What's the answer?
4.
4. Bring down our comma because we always know in subtraction and addition it's going to line up. And we move to which place, Victoria?
Thousands place.
Thousands. We have 4 minus 2. Can we do it?
Yes.
What's the answer?
2.
Now we don't forget our dollar sign. $4,785 minus $2 minus $2,293 is?
$2,492.
Good. Now we have to check using addition. Are we going to add our minuend and subtrahend?
No.
No, we're going to start with the
Different.
difference, good, which is 2,492, and we are going to add the comprehend, which is $2,293. What should we get if we did our problem correctly? The minuend. Okay, let's add the ones. 2 plus 3. 9 plus 9. 18, but we can't put 18, so we group the 1 to the what place? Good. Now we add the hundreds. 4 plus 2 plus our regroup number 1. 7. Bring down our comma because the commas always line up in subtraction and addition. And now we add the thousands. 2 plus 2 is, then we bring down our dollar sign. We got 4,785. Was that our minuend?
Yes.
So are we 100% correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now, that's what you're going to do for your independent practice. Some of them you're going to have word problems where you have to pull out the important information. Follow the steps I give you. Read it once through just to find the question. Once you find the question will tell you what operation you're doing and what unit you're using. So then you can go and find the numbers that represent the unit. Always put the, which one first? Greater or least one first? Class?
Greatest.
Greatest first. Then the least. If you get to the very last place, the greatest place value, and you can't do that subtraction because say you had 0 minus 2, what does that mean? If you got to the greatest place value and you could not do that, what does that mean you did?
We did something.
Zari? Don't tell me we did something wrong. What did you do wrong?
You messed up on lining it up.
Not necessarily. If I get to the greatest place value, in this case the thousands place, and I can't do that subtraction, what did I do wrong, Aaron?
You put the least amount of number first.
I put the smaller number first on the top, and can I do that? No. Okay, so go ahead, put those away for now. After music,